start fighting. Hey guys, Sensei George here. Today we're going to be going over knife defense. So specifically, we're going to be going against the thrust. So in a standard thrust, generally the person may take two stances. Either having their shield arm forward, being ready to grab someone and coming in with a thrust, or they have the knife hand forward because they know that this weapon is pretty scary and they'll just come in with that lead thrust. But note that my thrust doesn't just stay out. It's a retracting motion. So you see me coming in and I immediately come back. So I may have had that point to come in and I'm trying to take advantage of it. The dangers of leaving my knife hand out are everything that you've seen in every martial arts demonstration ever. My arm gets broken, locked, twisted, wrist locked, etc. So in this instance, I want to make sure that my opponent's pulling it back in to be as realistic as possible. And we're going to try to capitalize on that motion of them pulling the knife hand in. Now, my grip with the knife. A lot of pocket knives that are used in these type of attacks generally would have a thumb crimp here so that you can either support the knife when you come in to be able to slash down and direct it, or even have some resistance if it were to impact and go in towards a stabbing motion. The other grip is the hammer grip. Yeah? So the technique that I'm going to show can be taken to both the hammer grip and this adjusted grip as well, but we're going to try to go over both, but just note that the technique that we're trying to do goes towards it. Now if Kevin comes out real quick, so generally if someone's coming in for a stab motion, the stab is generally coming in for the stomach area. This is where a lot of the organs are. If you land one in there, you're great. Okay? From that point on, it's internal bleeding. If you just step back enough, sometimes you can wait out the person, and that's what would happen. There's a lot of closed circuit television that had shown some of these instances of just one stab, the guy backed off, and then one guy's still going, and he eventually starts experiencing the blood loss and shock, and he falls down on the ground. You want to try to avoid that at all costs. The other are any of the top stabs as well. Now this is normally protected by the rib cage, so if someone's coming in with a stab like this, consider yourself a little bit lucky because it may get stuck in the bone and it doesn't penetrate and you have a lot more time for attacking and stuff. So generally, if you stab like this or the guy's coming at you like this, it's stupid, and if they turn the blade sideways, they know what they're doing. They're trying to slip it between the ribs. From there it can go into the lungs, heart, and do some major damage in that fashion because it'll be a sucking wound and the person won't even be able to breathe properly. So knife stabs are extremely dangerous, and we're going to try to do our best to be able to compromise and learn a self-defense technique for it. But before I say anything about self-defense with knives, understand that the best defense against knife is to not be there. So if you can run away from someone that pulled out a knife on you, do it. Okay? There's no reason to try and close distance for someone that has something lethal. You get in a grappling match, they pull it, and you're just watching the knife slowly slide into you, and there's nothing much that you can do about it. Knives are scary, and you should treat them as such, but you should develop a plan of attack in case you are unable to escape, and that's what the goal here is today. So, the opponent is going to be coming in with that lead thrust. So they're going to have their hand up. From there, I generally done an X blocks and I bring it in. And I don't want to sit here, this hand's dangerous, it's going to be doing stuff as well. So immediately what I aim to do is to do a knife hand towards his knife hand. From there I come up with an uppercut. This sends his hand back. Now the arm is going to respond in 3 different ways is what we're going to be bringing up. If he brings his hand up because I uppercutted him, my hand's going to sleep under and I bring him down and strike and get away. Okay? The opponent comes in with the same thing. I block, stay close, strike, strike. Now from this portion, he may try to punch me in the head. I block it, I hit him again, this rotates his hand around, and I do a wrist lock and then stomp the ribs, then get away. Now, the next one is that if he comes in, I block his strike, come in. If his hand stays low, I'm gonna work with that. I get in close, I knee him, and then I drive him straight down and maintain a secure posture. From here, I can do whatever I need. Search to see if he has any more weapons. If he has friends, I'm ready to fight. And I can maintain this control the entire time until I get up to get away. So the way that this technique is working is based upon 3 separate stimuli. Not every person that attacks you will respond the same way. So being able to say, okay, his arm went high, his arm went forward, or his arm went low is a very important factor. And I'm not neglecting the other arm either. When he comes in for that thrust, after I strike and come up, this hand functions as a block. From here, I can strike, I can claw his face, I can do a number of other things here. But I'm just focusing on getting him in this direction, which allows me to still get this lock onto the hand. If he still had the knife, this makes it really weak so that I can come in and do some additional techniques as well, because I'm opening his grip up. Yeah. So that's the way that this technique works, is that we want to capitalize on how the opponent may respond after that initial thrust. Are they going to bring their arm up because they got uppercutted? Are they going to try to push you away, or come in with a counter strike and they block that and knock you away? Or are they going to pull their arm down because they got uppercutted and then you can flow with that? Yeah. Now, this thrust is pretty scary. It's one that will happen often. However, there's one that is statistically the highest knife stabbing attack out there, and that's the grab and stab. Okay? So generally with the grab and stab, someone's coming in with a lapel grab to get control of you, and then they're just trying to sink this knife in. If you block it the first time, they're pulling it back and they're coming at a different angle. They just want to hit all these different things. If they get these cuts, you start fighting less and they just work it in there. It's a very dangerous posture to be in. And generally the part about this is that if I got into this and I'm backpedaling and I'm trying to get away, I'm creating space for him to then work his knife at different angles. So backpedaling is actually a scary tactic for this. So generally the philosophy behind this again is to like jam it. From this jamming motion, if he tries to work around, my arms are connected, I can control this. But again, I don't want to just stand here. I need to come in with a counterattack. I need to hit him 3 times, even 10 times harder than he was thinking about attacking me. Aggression will make up a difference between us. He's already got that aggression because he came in for the attack. I didn't have a knife, so I have to jump up to that level as well. So when he comes in for that same motion, from here, I'm going to try to push it over. Strike here, same technique that we just did earlier, control. So I wanted to push his arm and trap it. I'll show that one more time. Coming to keep the knife. As he came in, coming for the transition, is to push this forward and block it. Now, this arm clearly has that parry inside. From that parry of this X block, this hand then traps it, this hand then punches or strikes down to the hand and comes up. If he pulls his arm back, that's where all that magic was. If his arms are crossed, you have a whole bunch of other techniques. But I only want to part on to you guys one more technique with this. If he pulls his arm back, but you can't get much control or pull him down, so if he stood back up, use your elbow, pop him in the chin, and step behind him. This rips him over, and you're able to get one more technique. Now, just another key note on this stab. Don't block the elbow. If you block the elbow, the stab comes in. It's dangerous. You have to come down to the wrist. Now, the wrist being a smaller target, having such a fine one is a little bit harder, but the fine angle increases your distance. The wider you get, the closer he comes in for a stab, even if you are at the wrist. So this was a little bit of a hard one of when the thrust comes in to try and jam it between this X. From there, parry, strike, ricochet, set up for either of the techniques that I just showed you. Yeah? And then finish. So I'm going to finish this off with one more recap of everything that we did, and this is essentially a skill tree. Opponent comes in with thrust, respond, jam it. After you jam it and do a strike of your own, how does the uke respond? Does he lift his arm up? Does he keep it center and try to attack you? Does he pull it back? And when you pull it back, is he going forward or is he trying to fight it and stand up? Based upon this skill tree, we'll do the techniques. So just going over one more time. Opponent comes in with a thrust. I want to come in, strike, ricochet. Arm comes up high. He tries to cover his face or he just brings the arm up, transition underneath. From here, step behind and reap. Arm stays middle. And he tries to attack me. Cover, strike him. And as I strike him, I wipe his hand to the left. Once his thumb is compromised to this angle, snapping the wrist or taking him down this direction isn't that hard. His arm comes from underneath. I hug the shoulder blade, come up underneath of his wrist and try to maintain this. I want to slide it to my elbow as soon as possible, and I pull him to a knee simultaneously. I drive down, pulling him to the ground and then kneeling on him for control in that matter. And then the last one is that if I got to the same position, 1, 2, and he gets here and he starts to pull the knife back, or we're in this position, and he stands up versus coming forward, help him stand up. Elbow him in the chin, step behind him. Stomp the ribs and do what you got to do from there. This is all taijutsu here. I'm just working with the direction and feedback his body gives me, or whether he's bringing the arm up from the punch, if he's bringing it forward, down. And then how is his kazush, his balance? Is it going forward or backwards, and working with it? So that's knife defense with me. Take note of the X block, train it, be wary of the stab and grab. Again, it's the most likely attack to happen, and train. Self-defense may sound like it's a one-day seminar, but if you just train this for one day, it won't be able to apply for anything. You have to do a lot of repetitions, a lot of training to ingrain the techniques and to experiment with it and to own it. This is stuff that I'm going to be working on until I'm dead, whether or not it will be absorbed in my bones and a true technique that I own. So, thank you guys for watching. What would ninjas do? Like, comment, share, subscribe, and look out for more episodes. どうもありがとうございました。